My grandma, Emma Jane Cole, was born in 1931. She was raised in Morgantown, West Virginia. She grew up in a small house with two married parents and one sister. Did you ever experience, or see segregation anywhere you went?
Oh my goodness. It was so sad to me because I was brought up by parents who had absolutely no prejudice. The color of your skin did not make a difference. The language you spoke, whether you were an immigrant or not, none of that made any difference. I was brought up to think that all men are created equal. And that has always been very sad to me, that we are judged on a tiny little thing like the color of our skin or the way that we speak, the language that we use.
In the 1960s, segregation was a major problem. People who were non-Caucasian were discriminated against. Some examples were blacks had to use the back of the bus and the whites got the front. Blacks had to use different public restrooms, and at school, blacks also had to use different classrooms than the whites. The Jim Crow laws created two separated societies, one for blacks and the other for whites. There were many protests against segregation because blacks wanted equal rights. After this, the Civil Rights Movement was created. The Civil Rights Movement was when blacks and whites protested these laws and fought for equal rights because they believed segregation was unfair. In 1963, MLK gave his big speech, "I Have a Dream." This created boycotts and marches all over the nation. MLK's speech encouraged people more to fight for major changes in society.
Do you want to know Woodstock took place?
Yeah.
There was close to 500,000 people that attended.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 days, it was peace. I'm sure a lot of fights, but music.
Woodstock took place in 1969. It was a 3-day festival that involved drugs, sex, and a lot of rock and roll. There were approximately 50,000 people there. Like my grandma said in her video, Woodstock was known as an Aquarian exposition, 3 days of peace and happiness. There were many problems and things that went wrong at the festival. One example was not having enough water for all the people, so many fights broke out. Another was after the festival, there were 70 lawsuits filed against them and over $1 million in debt that had to be paid off. Another problem was that nobody had planned for 1 million people, so everywhere around the vicinity became parking lots and sleeping grounds. Despite all the issues, Woodstock was a great success for the 1960s.